Sergeant Reese stops the man to inspect the cart if it has weapons or any contrabands when a Nazi soldier suddenly shows up, shooting 2 of his Sergeant Reese's men. Corporal Marson immediately shoots the Nazi when a woman rushed to her lover. After looking around, Sergeant Reese shoots the woman. Looking at his confused men, Sergeant Reese reasons that the woman is a Nazi. Afterward, they carry their fallen comrades to the camp where Sergeant Reese reports what happened to their superior and tells them that a woman died in the crossfire. Corporal Marson and Ash, another man from Sergeant Reese's troop, overheard them. Ash, then, points out that they shouldn't have killed the woman just because she was loyal to her lover. Going back to the sergeant and their superior, the superior scolds him for what happened and orders him to go back to the field to gather more intelligence reports. The scene changes to Corporal Marson looking at a picture of a child when his comrade Joyner joins him. It turns out that he also overheard the conversation of their sergeant and superior. He tries talking to Corporal Marson about what happened, but he's not getting any response. Cursing him, Corporal Marson says he just wants peace. Then, Sergeant Reese calls his troop as they're about to go back to the field. Afterward, we see the troop talking as they walk down the road. Ash suddenly opens the topic of how people can just easily murder someone, but he also points out that being silent in times of injustice is worse. Heisman, then, starts to mock him, and the two start bickering. Hearing this, Sergeant Reese stops them, but the two didn't listen, resulting in them being punished by doing push-ups. Shortly after, they come across an old man and the troop quickly inspects him and the cart he's pulling. Sergeant Reese talks to him, but the old man can't speak English because he's Italian. However, he tries to communicate with them as best as he can and tells them that he's not an enemy. Sergeant Reese, then, asks him about the Germans and the old man says that he saw them in the mountains. He asks the man if he could guide them, and when the old man agrees, Sergeant Reese orders Corporal Marson to check on the mountains and bring Ash, Heisman, and Joyner with him. Corporal Marson tries to reason out that there might be many German soldiers at the mountain, but Sergeant Reese insists on his orders. With no other choice, Corporal Marson goes to the mountains with Ash, Heisman, and Joyner as they're being led by the old man. On their way, Ash is being too talkative and Joyner is not a fan of that. Heisman sided with Ash, resulting in him and Joyner almost getting into a fight. Fortunately, Corporal Marson is able to stop them. Shortly after, Ash points out that Sergeant Reese chose the 4 of them to go to this uncertain mission because he knows they might report his actions to their superiors. This results in another argument with Joyner. Corporal Marson, having enough, scolds and tells them that whatever the reason is, they must follow orders. Whatever they see on the other side of the mountains, they will report it, and orders the 3 to don't waste their time fighting each other. The old man suddenly speaks Italian, to which Joyner understand. According to him, the old man wishes them to die, choking in their blood. He's about to attack the old man, but Marson stops him. As they continue, they reach a bridge and they argue whether they will continue or not. In the end, they decided to cross but will let the old man go first. After seeing that the old man was able to cross safely, the 4 soldiers followed. Unfortunately, as they assess the area after crossing the bridge, Heisman steps on a landmine. His 3 comrades immediately attend to him, but Heisman dies shortly after. Joyner, then, blames the old man for Heisman's death. He also points out that the explosion would attract enemies, thus they need to move. After getting Heisman's dog tag, the 3, along with the old man, continue moving. As they're walking, Marson asks the old man his name, to which he answers Angelo. He also reveals that he fought in World War I as a captain. Afterward, they spot a soldier wearing their color nearby, and they quickly approach it. To their surprise, the man is already dead and they assess that he died by a sniper. The men continue and later take their rest. Ash, then, convinces them to do something about their sergeant. If they won't, they will be as guilty as him. He also points out that this is a suicide mission. However, Joyner is more concerned about Angelo. He thinks that Angelo does understand them and only pretends that he doesn't. He also believes that Angelo is leading them to the Nazis. But Marson shrugs it off and they continue moving. Marson asks Angelo how far are they from the location, and Angelo tells them that they're not far away from there. Then, they come across a wolf. Joyner is about to shoot it, but Marson stops him. Fascinated by the wolf, everyone is shocked when suddenly someone shoots them. They get down and Marson quickly assesses his comrades. Fortunately, no one is shot. Slowly, they get up and move close to the trees. Shortly after, Marson spots another body in a camp. Approaching the man, he discovers that it's another dead body, but it's a German. The 3 think about the situation and Marson theorizes that either the Germans are running away from them or they don't know that they're around. However, Joyner thinks they're stepping into the Nazis' trap. While resting, Ash shares with the group that he has decided to report the truth to their superior. Marson, then, says he will accompany him, but they need to focus on their mission first. Hearing this, Joyner reminds them that the woman's lover shot 2 of their comrades dead. But Ash points out that the woman didn't do the shooting. Joyner rebutted that she's a Nazi and they don't like Jews like Ash. Then, Ash calls Joyner a Nazi. This pisses off Joyner and is about to attack Ash, but Marson stops and pushes him away. Later, as they continue moving, Joyner is being left behind when he suddenly breaks down. Taking off his vest and uniform, he begins scratching his arm aggressively, causing it to be wounded. The 2 soldiers get back to help him. As Marson provides cover for them, Ash helps him up. Joyner says they need to get off the mountain, and Ash tells him that after they got what they came for, they will immediately go back to camp. But Joyner begins spacing out, then says he's going home. But Marson insists that they're going on. The scene changes to the 3 soldiers and Angelo finally reaching their destination. It's Angelo's village where German soldiers are occupying. They also witness how the Germans execute the people. Joyner asks Ash if he will still report the sergeant after witnessing how brutal the Germans are. But Ash is determined to do the right thing. Joyner points out that the Germans are killing people that are part of the resistance, but Angelo butts in and says they're innocent people. Then, Marson notices that the Germans are moving and decides that they need to go back to camp as soon as possible. Unfortunately, on their way back, Ash is shot by a sniper. The 3 quickly hide in the trees and Marson tells Ash to pretend to be dead to avoid the sniper double tapping him. Then, he orders Joyner to cover fire for him as he picks up Ash and drags him to safety. Joyner quickly attends to Ash and treats his wound. Ash begins to be delirious and Joyner consoles him. After patching up his wound, Ash tells Joyner that he cannot feel his nor move his legs. But Joyner assures him that when his blood circulation goes back to normal, he will feel it again. Telling Marson that Ash needs immediate proper treatment, they start moving again as Joyner carries Ash in his shoulders. Reaching the Germans' camp, they decide to rest for a while where Joyner checks Ash's wound again. Then, as he looks at the dead German, Joyner comes up with an idea. They dress the dead German as one of them and tie him in the tree, planning to lure out the sniper. After dressing up and tying the man to the 3, Joyner says they need to leave. But Marson decides to stay to kill the sniper when he shows up. Joyner tries to change his mind, but Marson is determined to finish the sniper. Convinced, Joyner carries Ash again and they move, along with Angelo. As they rest, Joyner threatens Angelo that if he ever betrays and leads the Nazis to them, he will shoot Angelo first before any Nazi. However, Angelo tells Joyner that he must trust him, but Joyner insists that he will never do it. He, then, asks Angelo a water, but he declines and eats snow instead. Going back Marson, he's still watching over the dead body, waiting for the sniper to show himself up. Suddenly, he sees the dead woman and he begins getting flashbacks when the sergeant kills her. He also starts hearing her, causing him to have a panic attack as he feels guilty for what happened to her. Tired, Marson falls asleep, but a gunshot wakes him up. Alerted, he picks up his gun and points in the direction of the dead body as he sees a man slowly approaching the body. Marson hesitates to shoot the sniper at first, but he still pulls the trigger in the end. Approaching the sniper, Marson is very surprised to see that the sniper is not a German soldier but an Italian thief. Frustrated, he questions the dead as he cries out loud. Throwing the man's gun, he immediately follows his comrades. Upon seeing Marson, Joyner immediately asks if he was able to take down the sniper, to which he confirms. But the Joyner was surprised as well when Marson tells him that the sniper was an Italian thief. Realizing that it's someone from Angelo's village, Marson confronts Angelo. Afterward, they continue moving. Then, Joyner realizes that the Germans are paying the Italians for every soldier they killed, making them a survivor, just like them. Suddenly, Ash wakes up and starts being talkative again, but this time, Joyner willfully talks to him. As they reach the base, Marson is alarmed when he notices that Ash is not breathing. Rushing him inside, they call for a medic. Unfortunately, it is too late and the medic declares that Ash is already dead. Frustrated, Joyner attacks the medic. Luckily, their superior arrives and he is able to stop Joyner. He orders his men to take Joyner away and he goes straight to Marson. He also orders his men to search Angelo as he asks Marson what happened. But instead of telling what they've seen, Marson tells their superior about Sergeant Reese killing an innocent woman, which he told earlier to die during the crossfire. However, to Marson's surprise, this information is not important anymore because Sergeant Reese already died because a sniper shot him in his throat about an hour ago. Then, the superior asks him again what they found in the north. Marcin responds that the Germans are preparing for a counterattack and moving their way. Then, other soldiers find a map from Angelo. Seeing this, his superior orders Marcin to execute Angelo. But Marcin questions his orders, reasoning that Angelo helped them all the way. But the superior points out that Angelo is spying on them and scouting for the Germans. With no other choice, Marcin brings Angelo to the river where he plans to execute him. But remembering the ash, the woman, and the Italian thief, Marcin can't afford to pull the trigger. Then, Angelo prays for him, but after that, he curses Marcin and triggers him to pull the trigger. But Marcin shoots beside Angelo and spares him. He, then, orders him to leave and escape before he changes his mind. Falling to his knees, Marcin breaks down. Joyner arrives shortly after, asks him if he's alright, and offers him a cigarette. Asking where Angelo is, Marcin says Angelo won't do anything to change the war. Marcin, then, says that Ash was right all along, that since they killed the woman, they're all messed up. Noticing something is wrong with Marcin, Joyner leaves to get help.